into marriage. This according to campaigners this morning.
The Global Initiative for Girls Not Brides is calling for all weddings involving anyone under 18 to be made illegal. The move is supported by Payzee, whose sister was murdered after divorcing the husband she was forced to marry. And she joins us, morning to you. She joins us alongside us with Jasvinder Sanghera, who is a campaigner as well. Morning to you both. Thank you so much for joining us.
Lovely to see you.
And I know you both have stories to tell about this, but Payzee, just tell us what happened to you and your sister. I know, obviously it's a lifetime of a story, but tell me.
So I had an arranged marriage when I was 16. About 6 months before my older sister Benna has had an arranged marriage too. And so for me, I saw it as just a natural thing to do. And there was quite a conflict in growing up in London and seeing all my friends have a normal life and then seeing my sister have an arranged marriage. And I just felt like it was something I had to do. So I went along with it and I was married for 2 years. And thank God I was able to get out of that marriage at the age of 18.
What about your sister? I mean, it's awful circumstances, but she was the subject of an honour killing, is that right?
Yes, she was. For me, I think honour killings and arranged marriage, forced marriage are very linked closely together. And sadly, losing my sister to an honour killing was, the follow-up to a very sad arranged marriage, which led to everything that unfolded.
I know that you as well, you left home, didn't you, because you were going to be forced into an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
There's so many issues here, but one of them that you're talking about particularly is about this issue of consent and whether if at 16, you are able to give, because it is parental consent at that point, isn't it?
That's right. So the law here in England and Wales is at 16 you can marry with parental consent. But the issue that we have is that parental consent is very often coerced. So these are very young people who trust their parents. There's a relationship of trust between mum and dad. And so they have the power to coerce that consent, and young people normalise it. So very often you'll hear a 15-year-old say, yeah, I'm going to get married, but it's what we do. But the point here is that limit is opening the door for forced marriage. That's what we're saying. So if you look at the government's forced marriage unit statistics last year, 312 victims were under the age of 15, as young as 8 years old in this country. So this is child marriage, where children are being made to believe it's part of their norm. It prevents them from going to school. You can imagine if you're going to be married, they're aiding and abetting rape, because these children are then going to have to consent to marriages. And very often they're married to people much older than them.
How did it affect your relationship with your family?
Well, I ran away from home when I was 16 years old, and my family chose to disown me completely. So they have they don't talk to me or my children or grandchildren.
You know, no contact since?
39 years now. And especially because I also started to campaign and speak about my sister Rubina's death. She committed suicide, set herself on fire after she was forced to marry at the age of 15.
Just come back to what you were saying a little bit earlier about how you thought at the time that this was sort of normal. What can be changed about that, do you think, to help people?
Well, to start with, obviously the age of marriage. I think looking back at my own life at 16, it took away so much opportunities, to actually grow as a person. And had I known that this is something illegal, I think it would have given me a bit more confidence to actually see that this is wrong. Whereas at the moment, it's an open window. You can get married at 16, but there's so much you can't do. And I think it's about safeguarding the victims, because it's happening a lot. And at 16, you're not equipped to get married. You're not actually given the tools to deal with a decision like that's being placed, in your life.
Can I ask you as well about the impact on your family? Because it was your father and your uncle who murdered your sister. How is that situation now being sort of addressed, or is it talked about? I mean, how do you deal with it as a family?
Just like arranged marriage and forced marriage, it's a very taboo topic. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm speaking out. It's because we need to speak about this. It's affecting communities, it's affecting families, and, most of all the victims. We need to address these topics and actually speak about them so that they are changed. And
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just from what you know as well, is this happening? Are young girls being sent away to get married, or what patterns do you see?
I think the important thing to note right now is the summer holidays are around the corner, and this is the most critical time of year. So these children are being prepared to be taken out of this country, forced into marriages. But equally, again, looking at the government's forced marriage unit statistics, last year 10% of those child marriages took place in this country.
But there is also a pattern to sort of go on holiday and then as if it's a family holiday,
Yeah.
and then it becomes
Yeah.
this is the man you're going to marry.
This is what's happening right now. So children will be excited about the summer holiday when actually they're being duped into marriages abroad, and they'll be stranded there until they marry those people.
So there's a global campaign at the moment. I mean, how much pressure? What kind of pressure are you putting on the government at this point?
Well, Pauline Latham MP put in a bill to raise the age of consent of marriage. We're right behind her on that. It's had a first reading, so we're going to continue pushing that door. This is outdated, you know, and laws are, they can be, so it needs to be reviewed. And as we said earlier, that this age of marriage at 16 is opening the door for forced marriage of very vulnerable children and preventing them from achieving and aspiring in this country.
Thank you both very much indeed for coming to talk to us about such a sensitive subject as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just read you a right reply from the Home Office. They say the UK made forced marriage an offence in 2014 and is world leader, they say, in the fight to tackle this brutal practice. The government is aware of concerns regarding the legal age of marriage, and they say they will continue to keep this under review. So thank you very much for coming in and talking to us about that this morning.
Thank you. It is 17 minutes past 8. It's a lovely Monday in Wimbledon. Carol has all the weather for us. Morning.
Good morning, Lou. We're standing just outside Centre Court at the moment. The sun is trying to break through, and if you are coming to Wimbledon today, well, the forecast is a largely dry one. There will be sunny skies, just an outside chance of a shower, and highs up to 22 degrees. But the weather forecast for the UK as a whole has got some rain coming into Northern Ireland this morning, and later on that will get in across western parts of Scotland. For the rest of us,